Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope everyone has a great day today and got enough rest last night. Um, so story time for the week. Let's see here. I'll share a story from a Navajo mountain area, and the story involves multiple family members that decide to camp in a cave, a local cave around there. So this cave is a very cave, very old. So this cave goes north to south through Navajo Mountain. Navajo Mountain's a very ancient mountain as well. It's in Navajo, it's known as War God's Head. So the four sacred mountains are San Francisco Peak and Mount Taylor, Cisna, Jenny, Mount Blanca. So those mountains, the four sacred mountains, are War God's fist and his foot. So he's laying down, and his shoulders, his waist would be a black mesa. So it actually looks like Orion laying on the ground, if you will. So they went into this cave. This cave is known as a cave of monsters because we have different types of monsters that live in that mountain. Bigfoot's not the only one that lives in that mountain. There's also the Centaur. We've seen him around. The little people and the lizard man. And there's giant spiders in there. There's all kinds of good stories, from that mountain. A lot of oral traditional stories as well. Our night chants and the enemy way chants, it also originates from there. So these guys they're camping out in this cave, probably about 7 to 8 of them, and they all had their own rifles, shotguns. So they built a fire at the mouth of the cave, and they're just relaxing. They got late into the night, and they were just hanging out around the fire, and they heard a scream coming from deep within the tunnel. So that tunnel goes straight south to the other end of Navajo Mountain. And they're hearing these screams, god-awful screams coming in closer and closer. And, they had their rifles ready, shotguns ready. And from the fire, the light that the flame was giving off, they seen these huge pair of red eyes coming at them, from the darkness. And these eyes are really high up into the ground. And this thing is screaming, making its way towards them, and they all took off. They ran out to the cave, and they had a truck probably about a half a mile, maybe quarter of a mile from the cave. So they made it to the truck, single cab Chevy. They made it there, and the second oldest brother, he got to the truck, and everyone got to the truck, and this thing with its red eyeballs is still on them, still screaming and chasing them. And they turned around, they turned on the lights, and they seen this giant, I think he said it was a black hair giant creature coming with its eyes glowing from the lights. And he had a shotgun, and he just figured, like, why am I running? I have this gun right here. And he started unloading all his shotguns at this thing. And all the brothers turned around with their rifles, and they all started unloading, on this thing together. And, the brother, he said that as he was shooting his rounds around this creature, he noticed that, he doesn't really know, but doesn't know how or why, but he said these bullets, dirt flying up all around this creature. It looked like our bullets wasn't doing anything to it, and it was still running towards them, screaming, very angry. And they all jumped in the truck, 3 jumped in the front, the rest jumped in the back, and they turned the truck on, put it in drive, and the oldest one was trying to put his put the pedal to the metal, all the way down, and he looked at the other brothers in the truck saying, "We're not going, it's not going anywhere." And then the other brothers in the back were all screaming, the top of their lungs hitting the truck, the bed of the truck, and all three of the guys in the front turned around to look back, and they seen this huge, huge monster, has the back of the truck, the bed of the truck in the air while the wheels are spinning, and the boys are crying, looking at this thing. And the brother relaying the story to me, he wouldn't shift the truck into 4-wheel drive, and then the two front tires started getting traction, and then this thing dropped them. They ran out of this thing's hands, and they started driving down the dirt road back down to the community from the mountain, and this thing was chasing them still. It was chasing them all the way to the aunt's house. My wife's aunt, this is my wife's family story. I love hearing these stories. So they made it to the house, and my wife said that they heard all her brothers screaming. They all ran inside, yelling, screaming at each other, looking out the window, turning off all the lights, telling everyone to be quiet, and they're shaking. Whatever they seen really, really shook them. I'd probably be shaking too. So they heard this giant footsteps outside running around the house. Yeah, so that's a another good story, another Bigfoot story. Yeah, so that's the story for today. I'm actually thinking about doing a story a week, just so I can stretch out the stories. So yeah, anyways, just like, follow, comment. I like to hear more stories or anything you heard from your area. And if you have any Bigfoot stories or encounter, you can reach out to me. I'm one of the co-hosts for Jevening, the Creek Devil with William Jevening. So yeah, just message me, reach out to me. You guys have a great, wonderful day, and thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.